It's one of those moments where time seems to stop. You can almost hear the seconds stretching out, each one heavier than the last. For him, the weight of this moment feels unbearable. He had carefully hidden his stash of ABDL diapers inside, a zipped-up luggage bag in the closet, tucked behind some old jackets. His relationship with her was still new, still full of excitement and nervousness. And this part of him, the side he'd never shared with anyone, was something he wasn't sure how to bring up. He had kept it buried, locked away, hoping that maybe he'd never have to explain it. Maybe she'd never find out. But today, his worst fear came true. She was cleaning the closet, putting things in order, a simple task. She pulled out the luggage bag, curious, probably thinking there was something inside it she could use, something she'd forgotten about. She didn't mean to find it, but she did. You see, it's one thing for you to hide a part of yourself, to keep it in the shadows where no one can touch it. But it's another thing entirely when someone else stumbles upon it. And now she's standing there, holding the bag in her hands. Her eyes are fixed on it, the realization creeping in as she unzips it slowly, her face unreadable. You, the guy, can feel your heart start to pound in your chest. You've been here before, in this place where you've had to keep this secret, where you feared it might get out. But this time, it's different. This time she found it. She glances at you. There's a brief silence, like the world is holding its breath. She holds up a diaper, its soft, pastel-colored pattern obvious in the dim light of the closet. Then her gaze moves to you. It's a moment that could go either way, but something inside her shifts. Maybe it's curiosity. Maybe it's something deeper, but she doesn't react with judgment, as you feared she might. She doesn't yell, doesn't run out of the room, and for that, you're grateful. In fact, there's a softness in her eyes as she sets the diaper down gently. She steps toward you, holding your gaze, trying to read you, trying to understand. "Okay," she says, her voice calm but filled with questions. "So, you like diapers? Is this something you've been doing for a while?" You nod, your throat dry, heart racing. You can barely get the words out. Yeah. I didn't know how to tell you. I'm sorry, I should have explained it before." There's a pause. It feels like she's weighing something, sorting through her thoughts. And then, to your surprise, she steps closer. Her hand rests on your arm in a comforting gesture. "Hey," she says softly, almost as if trying to reassure both of you at the same time. "It's okay. You don't need to apologize." The words don't quite sink in at first. You can't quite process the relief flooding through you. You're expecting rejection, or at least confusion, but instead, she's just there, listening, watching. You can feel her processing, trying to understand your feelings without judgment. She's looking at the diapers again, her head tilted slightly, thoughtful. Then she turns her gaze back to you. "So, does this help you feel comforted? Like when you're wearing them?" The question is gentle, without a hint of mockery, which makes your heart ache with gratitude. You had been so afraid of being misunderstood, so afraid of her thinking you were weird, or worse, that she'd think you were some kind of freak. But here she is trying to make sense of it, asking you to explain in a way that feels safe. It's everything you didn't expect. "Yeah," you finally say. It's comforting. I don't know exactly why. I guess it's just something I've always done. It's not sexual or anything. It's more about feeling safe, kind of like being wrapped up in something soft and secure. She nods slowly, absorbing your words. You can tell she's still processing, but she's listening. That's all you really wanted, right? For her to just hear you, to give you a chance to be yourself. It's a bit like a security blanket, right? She asks, still with that same softness in her voice. You almost want to laugh, but you don't. Because, in a way, she's right. It's like a security blanket that just happens to be in the form of a diaper. You breathe in deeply, feeling the tension that had been building up inside you release bit by bit. Exactly. I know it's a little strange, but it's just something that calms me down. I don't really know how else to explain it. She sits down beside you, looking you in the eyes. I think I understand. It's not that different from how people have comfort objects. Some people like stuffed animals or old shirts or even certain smells. It's just different for you, and that's okay. For a moment, you can't believe your ears. She gets it. She really does. You were so scared, so terrified of how she would react. And yet here she is, sitting next to you, embracing something that makes you feel whole. You're not weirded out? You ask, almost unable to believe it. She smiles softly, shaking her head. No, honestly, I'm not. I mean, it's new for me, but you're still you. I just want to make sure you're happy and comfortable. You feel a rush of warmth spread through your chest at her words. It's more than just understanding, it's acceptance. And in a way, it's even better than you imagined. I'm glad you're okay with it, you say, feeling vulnerable but safe. I was worried you might think it was strange. No, she reassures, her voice steady. Everyone has their quirks. As long as you're not hurting yourself or anyone else, and it makes you feel better, I'm fine with it. We can figure it out together. Her hands find yours, gently squeezing them. The anxiety that had gripped you melts away, replaced by an overwhelming sense of relief and connection. For the first time in a long while, you realize that you don't have to hide this part of yourself anymore. She's not judging you. She's listening, understanding, and accepting you for who you are. And as she looks at you with a gentle smile, you know this conversation is just the beginning. You're no longer carrying this secret alone. Together, you'll figure out the rest. Together, you'll make it work. And maybe, just maybe, it'll be okay.